This is a problem from JEE Main 2019. So this is a classic push or pull problem. They will normally ask which one is easier, to pull an object or to push one. If pushing and pulling with same amount of force at the same angle produced the same acceleration, then option D would be our answer. But for that, first we need to calculate both of the accelerations. Let's break this problem step by step, okay? First, let's start by breaking the force into its components. Now, in the case of pulling, we can see that it reduces the normal force due to the upward directing vertical component of the force, that is F sine 30 degree. In the case of pushing, it adds to the weight by pointing downwards. So the same F sine 30 degree is now going to be downwards. We will just swap them for convenience because I'm going to make the pushing case as case 1 and pulling case as case 2. Let me reduce the system into its point-sized objects so we can clearly see which vectors are pointing at which directions. So in the pushing case, we can clearly see the vertical component of the force vector is actually adding weight to the system. And in the case of pulling, we can clearly see that it reduces the normal force. Now we can apply Newton's second law in the vertical direction. So we can clearly see the normal force would get equated by weight plus the vertical component of the pushing force. So Fn equals 60 newtons for the first case. Now we can calculate the force of friction, F equals 12. Now we can apply Newton's second law in the horizontal direction. So we will get Fx minus F equals ma1. That would give us acceleration of case 1. a1 equals 1.06. Now we are going to do the same thing for the second case, that is pulling case. Only one thing is going to differ, that is now the vertical component reduces the normal force. So it will be mg minus fy, that is the vertical component of the applied force. Now we will get normal force as 40 instead of 60. Now if we substitute that in the force of friction expression, we get friction force as 8. Now if we again apply the Newton's second law in the horizontal direction, we would get 1.86 as the acceleration of the second case. So it is clear that acceleration is greater when you are pulling the object and acceleration is lesser when you are pushing the object. You can clearly see the difference in acceleration is 0.8. So option C would be our answer. Note that if no frictional forces are involved, then the acceleration you would get in both the cases will be same, which will result in the difference in acceleration as 0. This is only true if there are no frictional forces are involved. In the real world, you will always find pulling an object easier compared to pushing the object. See you in the next video.